Alright, so I hope the lighting is good enough, and it's not. Taking myself to the vending machine where I'll buy a Pepsi. Now, as far as some of the stuff I want to talk about, I want to get into a little bit about the hardware that I'm going to be using for this vlog. The computer that I edit videos with is also going to be the same computer that I do the devlog on. It's just a matter of piecing together the footage in just the right way. Just got 75 cents on my person. Alright. It's like a brand new quarter. 2015 Homestead. Got my soda. So now, just gonna head back to the apartment. With the highest of hopes that I'll be able to explain my intentions, maybe get a couple of ideas from you guys. Because, you know, as a game developer, sometimes you can run dry of ideas. It's like anything else. You get writer's block, whatever you want to call it, for game design. I got my soda, heading back in the house, getting ready for the devlog. Alright, so in just a minute we're going to get started. I'm going to actually open up my computer so we can take a look at the components that are inside. I'm going to go over the motherboard and, you know, the specs of the computer that I'm using. It's really high-end for the stuff that I'm doing. So I mostly use GameMaker Studio and Unity, but I've also messed around with a little bit of Eclipse, Java, you know, the whole interface, NetBeans, the whole 9 yards. So my setup is really nothing special. I just do have 3 screens. I have an eMachine screen that I have over here. Came from my old eMachines. I got this nice TV. I can't remember what size. And then I have the HP monitor that came with my old HP that I had before the last gaming PC that I built. So the gaming PC that I have here, I completely built myself, and it's this guy right here. It has a Corsair, I forget the model of the case, but I got this guy off of Newegg. I'm telling you right now, I'm probably never going to do business with Newegg again, because Newegg, in a lot of ways, has just not been the best buying experience for me. I mean, every single time I would go ahead and try to order something from Newegg, I would run into one problem or another, whether it was, oh, you get a free gift with this order and all of a sudden I'm paying for it, or just the order gets shipped to the wrong place, you know, just stupid little problems like that. So I finally decided that I was going to get the rest of the parts off of either Amazon or Fry's Electronics. Alright, so here she is right now. I haven't cracked into her because I figured I could save that for the video here, so just going to unscrew these guys here. I'm just going to go over a couple of the components that I have inside of here, you know, major components that cause the thing to run as a whole. This is a custom build, of course. Now, you might notice that the color scheme right now is supposed to be a black and white build. The reason for the red graphics card is because I did actually have a black and white graphics card, which I'm about to get right now. So here it is. It's actually the MSI RX 480, which was supposed to be a better card than this guy right here, which is a little outdated in current times. It's actually the NVIDIA GeForce GTX 970, so it's been quite outdated for a couple of years now, but it still, for some reason, is running a lot better than my newer card, which was originally bought for this system. But I kept running into problems where the computer would crash itself, and for some reason it wasn't working for me as good, you know. As you can see here also, another disadvantage to using the RX 480 is that while you see the GTX 970 actually has 2 DVI slots, this one only has 1. And that also was problematic for me because I couldn't go dual screen while using this. So those are just the major reasons that I decided to go back with the old card. Unfortunately, it kind of breaks the color scheme a bit, but I prefer the performance over the color scheme in a situation like this. I pretty much already satisfied the need to build that color scheme and have it work. So underneath the CPU fan we have here, I can actually feel a little bit of heat coming up from this thing right now. Underneath the CPU fan is the AMD FX 6300. Okay, then we're using about 16 gigs of RAM here, 2 sticks of 8 gigs, and as I mentioned earlier, the GTX 970 as a graphics card. So it's a pretty decent build, you know. It's not more than I need. You know, people nowadays, they're going for like the 1080 and all of that. And if you're in the Radeon side, then you're going with the RX series instead of, you know, the R9 series. But personally, the games that I play and the tasks that I perform aren't really so intensive that I really need an overly expensive build. So that's the reason that I went with this, is because I know my capabilities, I know what I need. You know, it's not overkill for what I'm doing. And then what I have here is a 750 watt thermal take power supply that's running the whole thing. I actually have 3 hard drives in this build right now. 1 terabyte, 3 terabyte, and then just I think about another terabyte is the smaller one. Don't know if you can see that too good. And the motherboard is the 970A SLI motherboard. The problems that people have had with this motherboard, you know, I've only experienced to a minor degree. My last computer was actually a black and red build, hence the GTX 970 in this color. And so was the motherboard. I actually had the 970, just the standard MSI 970 gaming motherboard previously, which I still have it. I just haven't used it for this build because I wanted to change up the color scheme. It doesn't really make any sense for me to put it in this motherboard, I mean in this case anyway, because, you know, it's already running with all the components. To get the whole thing apart again would be really problematic in my opinion, because I have to take everything out. And plus it would, once again, it would break kind of the color scheme because I still have the white case. You know, so it doesn't really make too much sense. The only problems that I've really had with it are occasionally the top two, I want to say. Yeah, the top two, I think it's actually these guys right here. Every once in a while go out for some reason, and I think it might have something to do with just overload protection or heat protection. Like if I plug the keyboard and mouse, or I should say the mouse and the Wi-Fi dongle into them at the same time, it won't happen instantaneously, but after a while they will disconnect out of absolutely nowhere. So something to look out for if you get in this motherboard. But yeah, for the most part, nothing really too major aside from that. I do have three blue LED fans in the front. I had to get this whole thing out over here just to get the third fan in here. You can't even see it from where it is that good, but it's in there. Now let's get on with the devlog. Alright, so now it's time to get on with the first devlog. Now, first of all, one of the things that I want to say is my reasoning for uploading the Windows and Android version of Legends of Lardona on Facebook is so this way I could try to appeal to a larger fan base, because I know that not everybody is going to have access to a computer, and I know not everybody is going to have access to an Android phone or tablet. Some of the problems that I've been experiencing as far as the Android version is concerned is I have actually a couple of people testing the game along the side, and they're not actually part of my team in any way, shape, or form, but what they're doing is that they're testing to see if the button placement is in the right place. Now, what I have found is that with my phone and with my tablet, it works flawlessly. The height of the viewport is scaled down to fit the phone, but it's not scaled up when reaching larger displays or larger resolutions like 4K, for instance. So if your phone has support for up to 1280 by 720, you'll do absolutely fine. Even 1200 by or 1280 by 800, you'll be fine. But if you start approaching like I want to say, it even works on 1080p, so I don't know what the deal is as far as the scaling is concerned on a 4K phone, but, you know, it is what it is. Alright, so I plugged her all in and everything, and here's a really good example of what I'm talking about. So as you can see here, the mouse is not working regardless of my attempts to get it to do so. And over here, if we follow the wires, you can see that it's this one right here. Now, I don't know what the deal is. Hold on. Alright, now let's take it back over here. And somehow we've got it working again. Wow. Alright, now we can hopefully get on with the devlog. Alright, so for the first order of business, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up Game Maker Studio, because that's the primary tool that I've been using. Only takes about a second. There it is. Come on, come on, come on. Alright. Going to open up Legends of Lardona. Now, I'm not going to be showing off any source code, but what I am going to be doing is I'm going to be running the game. And I'm going to show the main differences or the main changes that I've been working on. So I finally put a title screen, or I should say a splash screen. And then I have a title screen. Now let's get a closer look at that. It's essentially just... Man, that's blurry. It's essentially just a bunch of trees kind of placed in random locations. And yeah, that's just about it. So you press space, takes you to the tutorial room. I'm going to press space to skip that. And it still pretty much has the same mechanics as before. One of the things that I plan to improvise on is definitely the graphics. Because I'll admit that it's been my plan all along to make the game with better graphics. I mean, some of the game mechanics is really what I'm focused on right now. If you notice, the trees kind of pop in and out, like as you progress through the world and stuff. That's done deliberately to save space. Whenever a tree is not in view, it will not be visible, okay? That's the reason that's done that way. So we could just kind of swim. Let's go over here and cut down this tree. And we could look at our inventory, which is also updated. Sorry about the Plays TV thing. Let me actually get that out of there. I got a sound effect for, moving around and stuff. Go to the second interface. Now we have the layout that has all of the items in their respective categories. So at least this way you can at least see where all the item types are supposed to go. One of the things that I've been thinking of doing is giving arrows and spell tombs their own slot, maybe somewhere down here. So it would be like sword, arrows, spell tomb, or something like that. It's really kind of up in the air right now. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. But for right now, this is what I have so far as that's concerned. And then with Unity, I have been working on this one project, which, believe it or not, is also Legends of Lardona. And it's supposed to be 3D. Let me just put this stuff in. And so we have first-person mouse look. I have a little bit of a mountain system over there. Why am I not able to look up and down? Why does this keep happening to me? If I could see the lens flip. Oh. Alright, I'm going to need to fix that then. For this, I don't really care too much. This is by default supposed to have a lens flare effect. So as you can see in the preview window, I'm able to move my view around by right-clicking and everything. And as you can see, it does have a lens flare. That's supposed to appear in the world itself. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm just going to go into the player, I think. Camera, first-person controller. Yeah, I might need to fix that as well because for some reason, it's just... if anybody knows how to fix this problem where I can't look up and down, there's always a problem. There's always a problem when loading this stuff. Let me see. Viewport. I keep changing this. And this should be 70. Not so that I'm passing through the floor, though. Let me see what's going on over here, because the player actually does have a camera object underneath it. There we go. And let me see. For whatever reason in the world, both of these have their own, and I don't know which one actually controls the camera itself. Like, I just named these camera and player, but in actuality, it's just the camera, the standard camera things that come with it. Flare layer, there it is. Oh, it's not even checked, I don't think. Oh, yes it is. What am I talking about? Okay, let me try running it again. Let's see what we get this time. Okay, I'm still not able to look up and down. And the flare is still not visible. Alright, let me see if I can figure this out for just a moment. Alright, so what I went ahead and did was I actually had to delete the camera. Turns out that I'm not the only person experiencing this problem. It's actually a problem with Unity. It's not anything that I'm doing. So what I did was, instead of following what the people on the forum was saying, which was essentially set these two vectors right here to 0, I tried that and it didn't work. So what I went ahead and did is I just deleted the camera. You notice it's no longer camera and player. I have FPS controller and first person character. So that's what I'm going to be using for this. Now, something that I want to state right now is the only resources that are not mine are the houses and the trees, okay? Everything else, including the texture, I have done myself. Very simple. Whoops. Unity App Store decides to come up. I'll just minimize that for now. Okay, so hopefully we should have everything working. That's a beautiful scene right there. So let's see. Alright, we still don't have that flare layer enabled. I gotta figure out which one is actually the one that it's supposed to be on, because I had it on the camera originally, and the camera didn't seem to take to it very well. So I'm just gonna add that component, blah blah blah. No, that's gonna be rendering flare layer. There we go. And let's see if we got it. Hello. That's beautiful. Now, I know this might look like stars, but what I went ahead and did was, among the textures that I created, I had also added a particle system for snow, so that this way at the top of the mountains it would look like it was, you know, legitimately snowing. And this is what I got so far. If you look all the way up there, you got the top of the mountains. These houses that are currently in the scene are actually not mine. I refuse to take credit for them. I actually got them as well off of the asset store. They're temporary placeholder houses, because what I'm planning on doing is I'm planning on actually putting Norton Village right here, right by this mountain range. If we take a closer look at how the whole map lines out, this is essentially what Lardona would look like as an aerial view. So let's see if I can't zoom out a little bit. Just gonna have to keep doing this, I guess. Alright, so yeah, the map is pretty huge. Not gonna lie. It's pretty big. But this is essentially the shape of Lardona. So over here we're going to have Norton Village, and then over here is going to be the Wood Elf territory. Yulin Swamp is going to be down here. That's why there's no sand over here, because the swamp doesn't actually need sand to come off of the edge. We have a small beach that's over here. If you also notice by the edges, the sand appears wet and everything. This little island off to the side here was actually unexpected. What I ended up doing was I just had a terrain for this side, and then another separate terrain that I created for the underside, because what I wanted to do is I wanted to make the underwater seem deeper than it actually is, or just deeper in general, without having to bring this terrain up too high from the base terrain. So I actually have a terrain on top of another terrain at a lower height. Okay, because Unity, for some reason, it's not allowing me to go negative with the terrain height, so I had to add another one underneath. This island was unexpected, but I decided to leave it last minute because it just fit in so well. Then over here we have the Adamantine Isles, okay? And then we have this massive volcano off in the distance. It was planned later on in development, but it just seems to fit right where it is. I don't have any lava in it right now or anything like that. There are probably going to be a couple of, residents that are going to be living there. But for the time being, I really do think that this is, coming out pretty amazingly. One of the things that I absolutely want to do is I want to create a 3D model of a house. And I'm going to be using Blender for that, as a matter of fact. A lot of people say that if you want to stay competitive, you should use Maya or 3D Studio Max or whatever. The truth of the matter is, I feel like Blender is a much more powerful tool and it's free. Why pay for something else when I could do the same exact things with this utility? So I've been using Blender. I know how to use Blender because I actually took a course on it in high school because I was doing visual communications and graphic arts. And that's when I came across Blender. And I've loved it ever since. It does everything I need it to do, and like I said, it's free, and it's open source. So, it doesn't get much better than that. So, a couple of things that I want to add is that Legends of Lardona, it does have its iterations. I'm trying to work on it in 2D, but I'm also creating a side project which is going to be in 3D. I'm going to see which one kind of gets done first. Whichever one gets done first, or whichever one seems like it's, actually going somewhere, that's the one I'm most likely going to keep. I've made a lot more progress, admittingly, with the 2D version in GameMaker Studio. I know the ins and outs of GameMaker Studio. I could pretty much create anything I want with GameMaker Studio. But Unity just has overall better support for 3D, so I'm trying to mess around with that quite a bit as well, and I really like the interface of it, It's basically my dream engine, really, because I've always kind of wanted an engine where you could literally come along and, let's say, for instance, I wanted to, paint part of the terrain over here. I could just literally select the terrain overworld, which is this one, and I could take one of the paint and I could select any of these these textures here, and paint over it like so, and there you go. You got part of the texture. I've always wanted something like that for GameMaker. They are available, but they're not nearly as good if they do exist. And as a matter of fact, let me see something. It was kind of spazzing out as I was zooming in. This thing is so weird, I'm telling you. So I'm just kind of moving the camera here. Yeah, I thought so. Okay, let me actually fix that right now. Alright, so for the first order of business, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up GameMaker Studio, because that's the primary tool that I've been using. Only takes about a second. There it is. Come on, come on, come on. Alright. Going to open up Legends of Lardona. Now, I'm not going to be showing off any source code. Alrighty then. That was weird. Now, I'm not going to be showing off any source code, but what I am going to be doing is I'm going to be running the game. And I'm going to show the main differences or the main changes that I've been working on. So I finally put a title screen, or I should say a splash screen. And then I have a title screen. Now let's get a closer look at that. It's essentially just... Man, that's blurry. It's essentially just a bunch of trees kind of placed in random locations. And yeah, that's just about it. So you press space, takes you to the tutorial room. I'm going to press space to skip that. And it still pretty much has the same mechanics as before. One of the things that I plan to improvise on is definitely the graphics. Because I'll admit that it's been my plan all along to make the game with better graphics. I mean, some of the game mechanics is really what I'm focused on right now. If you notice, the trees kind of pop in and out, like as you progress through the world and stuff. That's done deliberately to save space. Whenever a tree is not in view, it will not be visible, okay? That's the reason that's done that way. So we could just kind of swim. Let's go over here and cut down this tree. And we could look at our inventory, which is also updated. Sorry about the Plays TV thing. Let me actually get that out of there. I got a sound effect for, you know, moving around and stuff. Go to the second interface. Now we have the layout that has all of the items in their respective categories. So at least this way you can at least see where all the item types are supposed to go. One of the things that I've been thinking of doing is giving arrows and spell tombs their own slot, maybe somewhere down here. So it would be like sword, sword, arrows, spell tomb, or something like that. It's really kind of up in the air right now. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. But for right now, this is what I have so far as that's concerned. And then with Unity, I'm not as experienced, admittedly, but I have been working on this one project, which, believe it or not, is also Legends of Lardona. And it's supposed to be 3D. Let me just put this stuff in. Alright, so as you can see here, we have Project Craftscape. Alright, so as you can see here, we have Project Craftscape. We're going to click on that guy. Hopefully it loads up the scene properly. Because I noticed that when I reloaded one of the old saves that I had, it didn't load the scene and everything else into it. I kind of had to manually import everything again. Oh crap, look at that. Here it is. Everything's here. I saved this one properly this time. And so we have first person mouse look. I have a little bit of a mountain system over there. Why am I not able to look up and down? Why does this keep happening to me? If I could see the lens flip. Oh. Alright, I'm going to need to fix that then. For this I don't really care too much because I'm still learning myself. This is by default supposed to have a lens flare effect. So as you can see in the preview window, I'm able to move my view around by right clicking and everything. And as you can see, it does have a lens flare. That's supposed to appear in the world itself. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm just going to go into the player, I think. Camera, first person controller. Yeah, I might need to fix that as well because for some reason it's just... if anybody knows how to fix this problem where I can't look up and down. There's always a problem. There's always a problem when loading this stuff. Let me see. Viewport. I keep changing this. And this should be 70. As far as the water is concerned, it doesn't have any swim physics just yet. But this is basically what's under the water. Down here, there's going to be like a massive sea monster that is going to attack the player on sight. And so I had to have a little bit of a deeper end for it, some rocks, you know. So it's just all around a very intricately designed world. You know, and I'm not trying to just toot my own horn here. I'm literally saying, like, this took me about a day to do. Which is still pretty amazing. It goes to show how far technology has come in the game design respect. So now I'm going to turn the camera because it's hard to hold the camera and the controls at the same time. So we're coming back up a little early, if I do say so myself. Where's the volcano? Okay. So I'm just going to go straight then. Yeah, see, I mean, it looks small when you're looking at it from above, but honestly, there's nothing small about it. So we're coming up on the sand. Fresh breath of air. And then as we approach the volcano, you could see just how massive it is. I mean, again, it probably looked super duper small. That's it all the way up there, yeah. If this is my maximum jump height, you gotta think this volcano goes up a couple of 1,000 feet. So one of the things that I really tried to do here is implement as much life as I possibly could. I mean, these palm trees over here are freaking drowning. But I do have grass that's growing and palm trees, which I really do have to move these guys up, not for nothing. I'm actually going to have to do that independently. But as far as this series is concerned, what I'm most likely going to be doing is, you know, occasionally having, you know, one or two things on the screen and having it where you could see me working on the game to some extent. I mean, I don't want to give away any of my source code, so if anything, those will all be functionized and kind of hidden from view for the most part. But, you know, 3D modeling, any artistic assets and stuff, you know, some code, I will be uploading as much as I possibly can during these devlogs. And I really just want to keep anybody watching this informed. You know, I want to keep you guys informed because, truth be told, it's difficult to know what people go through in the game industry that are trying to make games, whether it be for personal projects or for profits. And for profits, it's even more difficult because of the nature of the game design industry and how competitive it is. I mean, your game really has to stand out if you want to make money off of it. And as you can see here, I mean, this is the quality of the graphics that I'm hoping to achieve. I mean, everything that I created, from the sand that you're seeing over here to the grass on top of it, not all of these, you know, grasses that are standing up, and they are animated, by the way. Forgot to mention that. They don't look animated from this perspective. Let's actually run the game and take a look at that. I just got to remember where they are. Switching hands here, actually switching back. So the area with the most trees in that general direction is where we're headed. Now, when working on this game, I've been very careful to add as many special effects as I possibly could. You know, I want to make sure that the world is as believable as physically possible. And you got to remember, this is me right now, working by myself. I don't have a team of people doing this with me. Everything that you're seeing here is a product of either a template or my own design. And the graphics, I can definitely say, and the terrain are mine. The water is just a temporary placement that actually is one of the, I want to say, effects that Unity offers. So that's one of the things that kind of comes with the program. You could just kind of import those assets and everything. I'm trying to familiarize myself as best as I can with the interface. Programming language that I'm using for this is C#, and I've definitely messed around with that in the past with Visual Studio. Here we go. Here's the grass. I actually gotta take some of the grass out because on the parts with the sand, it doesn't make any sense for them to be here. But if you take a nice close look, I'm actually going to go to where there might be a little bit better lighting. I'm actually going to bring up the lighting a little bit, because I think that's one of the areas that I kind of gypped out on to some extent. And there are collisions with these trees, by the way. Let me rotate the view a little bit this way, so that this way I can collide with this tree over here. The trees themselves are physical objects that, you know, you can't necessarily go past. So when I say that an object is solid, I'm essentially saying that you can't pass through it, okay? As you can see here, though, we got, you know, different types of grass, actually, and all of it is animated. Every single strand is animated. It flows with the wind like the water. And I mean, this is a beautiful scene, if I do say so myself. I've been working at it a little while, you know. Haven't done much work on it today, but I've definitely been working at it. And it's just, it's absolutely beautiful to look at. So, let me know if you guys want me to document my progress with this. Because, I mean, I'm going to be working on it on the side. But I want to know if you guys want to see the development of it or not. Alright, folks. So, that was the first devlog. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I know I keep saying that for just about everything, but I mean, hey, pick out what you want to comment about and stuff. I mean, honestly, I'm just looking for feedback here. I want to upload a little bit of a devlog so that this way I could help out fellow game designers, if anything. You know, anybody that might be actually interested in following this might also be able to gain some kind of inspiration from that. That's what I really want, is that I want us to be able to build off of each other's ideas. And I think the best way to do that is to learn from not only what other people are doing, but also from other people's mistakes. So, you know, feel free to leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.